In the bustling heart of New York City, under the glaring lights of a packed courthouse, 5 men stood hand in hand, their faces a mix of defiance and joy as cameras flashed relentlessly. The judge's gavel struck, sealing marriages that would ignite a firestorm across social media and news outlets worldwide. What the world didn't know yet was that these grooms weren't just any couples. They were brothers, raised under one roof by a man who had pulled them from the brink of despair. It all began in the late 1990s, in a quiet suburb of Chicago, where Dr. Elias Hawthorne, a widowed pediatrician in his 40s, first encountered the foster care system's harsh realities. Elias had lost his wife to cancer 5 years earlier, leaving him childless and adrift in a sea of grief. Volunteering at a local orphanage changed everything when he met young Tommy, a scrawny 8-year-old with a mop of curly hair and eyes that held too much sorrow for his age. Tommy had been bounced between homes after his biological parents disowned him for acting too girly, as they put it. Elias saw not a problem child, but a boy desperate for acceptance. He filed for adoption that very week, unaware it was just the start. Soon after, Elias learned of Alex, a 10-year-old runaway from a conservative family in rural Illinois. Alex had been caught kissing another boy at school, leading to beatings at home and eventual abandonment. The system labeled him troubled, but Elias recognized the spark of resilience in his defiant stare. Adopting Alex meant navigating court battles and skeptical social workers who questioned a single man's motives. "Why these boys?" they asked. Elias's answer was simple: because no one else will. With Alex came more challenges, night terrors, school fights, and the slow building of trust. Tommy and Alex clashed at first, like oil and water, but under Elias's patient guidance, they formed a tentative bond, sharing secrets in the dim light of their shared bedroom. The family grew when Elias heard about Jordan, a 12-year-old from Detroit, who had been living on the streets after his parents kicked him out for coming out as gay. Jordan was street smart, with a quick wit that masked deep scars from abuse. Elias drove through the night to bring him home, facing resistance from agencies, wary of placing another high-risk kid with him. Jordan's arrival stirred the household. He challenged Tommy's shyness and matched Alex's fire, creating a dynamic that forced all 3 to confront their pasts. Elias enrolled them in therapy, encouraged open talks about identity, and turned his home into a sanctuary where being different was celebrated, not shamed. By the time Marcus entered the picture, Elias's house was alive with the chaos of 3 growing boys. Marcus, at 9, had been in foster care since birth, shuffled around because of his effeminate mannerisms that made other families uncomfortable. From a broken home in Cleveland, he arrived with a suitcase of clothes and a heart full of doubt. The boys welcomed him awkwardly at first. Tommy shared his toys, Alex taught him self-defense, Jordan cracked jokes to ease the tension. Elias watched as they began to weave a tapestry of brotherhood, late-night whispers turning into laughter that echoed through the halls. The 5th and final addition was Riley, an 11-year-old from Boston, whose story broke Elias's heart the most. Riley's parents had died in a car accident, but his extended family refused custody upon learning he might be gay, citing religious reasons. Labeled unadoptable, Riley had spent years in group homes, his spirit dimming. Elias fought tooth and nail through bureaucracy to bring him home, completing his unconventional family. Now with 5 boys, all navigating their emerging sexualities in a world that often rejected them, Elias committed to being the father they needed, attending pride events, advocating at schools, and fostering an environment of unconditional love. As the years ticked by, the boys grew into teenagers, and the household became a battleground of hormones, identities, and societal pressures. Tommy, the youngest, struggled with bullying at school, his gentle nature making him a target. Alex, ever the protector, got into fights defending him, leading to suspensions and heated family meetings. Jordan's sarcasm hid his fear of abandonment, while Marcus's creativity blossomed in art classes, drawing portraits that captured the family's essence. Riley, the quiet observer, excelled in academics, dreaming of college despite the odds. Conflicts arose not just from outside but within. Elias faced scrutiny from neighbors and colleagues who whispered about his gay agenda, in raising these boys. One particularly vicious rumor suggested impropriety, leading to a child services investigation that cleared him but left emotional scars. The boys, too, grappled with their feelings. Crushes on classmates, first heartbreaks, and the dawning realization that their attractions might extend closer to home. Elias encouraged healthy boundaries, emphasizing that family came first, but the lines blurred in subtle ways. Shared glances, lingering hugs, a comfort that felt deeper than brotherhood. High school brought more drama. Tommy came out officially at a school assembly, inspired by Elias's stories of Stonewall. Alex joined the wrestling team, using sports to channel his anger, but faced homophobia from teammates. Jordan experimented with rebellion, sneaking out to underground clubs, worrying Elias sick. Marcus found solace in theater, where he met like-minded friends, and Riley buried himself in books, aiming for scholarships. Through it all, Elias was the anchor, cooking family dinners where they debated politics, shared dreams, and healed wounds. One evening, after a particularly rough day, the boys gathered in the living room, Elias at the center. "We're not just surviving," he said. "We're building something real." Little did they know, the bonds they were forging would test society's limits in ways unimaginable. As the boys transitioned into young adulthood, the Hawthorne household evolved from a refuge into a launchpad for their ambitions. Tommy, now 18, pursued a degree in social work at the University of Chicago, driven by his own experiences to help others. His soft-spoken demeanor hid a fierce advocate. He volunteered at LGBTQ+ youth centers, often bringing home stories that reignited family discussions. Alex, 20, channeled his intensity into community college, studying criminal justice with dreams of becoming a lawyer for marginalized communities. His protective instincts extended beyond the family, leading him to organize protests against discriminatory laws. Jordan, at 22, moved to New York City after high school, chasing a career in journalism. His sharp tongue found a home in writing exposés on foster care failures, drawing from personal pain. Marcus, 19, enrolled in art school in Philadelphia, his paintings reflecting themes of identity and belonging that garnered early acclaim. Riley, 21, secured a full scholarship to MIT, majoring in computer science, his analytical mind thriving in algorithms and code. Elias, now in his 60s, watched with pride as they spread their wings, but the empty nest brought its own challenges. He retired from his practice, focusing on advocacy work, but health issues, a mild heart condition, reminded him of his mortality. The boys visited often, their gatherings filled with laughter and debates, but underlying tensions simmered. Subtle shifts in dynamics emerged. Tommy and Marcus shared knowing looks that lingered too long. Alex and Jordan argued with a passion that felt charged, and Riley observed it all with quiet intensity. The first crack appeared during a Thanksgiving reunion in 2010. Jordan arrived with news of a published article critiquing adoption policies for LGBTQ+ kids, sparking a heated debate. "Society isn't ready for families like ours," he argued. Alex countered. "Then we make them ready." Amid the wine and turkey, Tommy confessed a crush, not on an outsider, but on Marcus. The room fell silent. Elias, ever the mediator, encouraged honesty. "Feelings are valid, but we navigate them carefully." Marcus blushed, admitting mutual affection, but they agreed to table it, fearing it could fracture the family. Yet the seed was planted. Over the next few years, similar revelations unfolded. Alex and Jordan, after a road trip to visit Elias, returned closer than ever, their bickering evolving into tender moments. Riley, during a late-night call with Tommy, shared his own confusions. These weren't fleeting attractions. They were deep connections forged in shared trauma and unconditional support. Elias grappled with this, consulting therapists and reading literature on non-traditional relationships. He worried about societal backlash, incest accusations, though no blood ties existed, but prioritized their happiness. By 2015, the relationships solidified. Tommy and Marcus moved in together in Chicago, their partnership blooming into a committed romance. Alex proposed to Jordan in a quiet park, the ring symbolizing their journey from rivals to soulmates. Riley, ever the lone wolf, surprised everyone by confessing love for both Tommy and Marcus, leading to polyamorous discussions that challenged norms. Elias supported them, attending couples therapy sessions, but the outside world loomed threateningly. Conflicts escalated when Jordan's article on their family went viral. Titled Brothers in Love, Redefining Family, it detailed their story anonymously at first, but leaks revealed identities. Social media exploded. Supporters hailed it as progressive, while critics decried it as immoral. Elias faced death threats, his home vandalized with slurs. The boys rallied, but internal doubts crept in. Tommy questioned if their love was born of convenience. Marcus feared public scrutiny would destroy his art career, and Alex clashed with Jordan over going public. A pivotal moment came during a family crisis: Elias's heart attack. Rushing to the hospital, the boys confronted their fears. In the waiting room, Riley broke down. "We're all we have." Elias recovered, but the scare unified them. They decided to live authentically, damn the consequences. Weddings were planned, not in secret but boldly, inviting media to witness. As preparations unfolded, societal pushback intensified. Conservative groups petitioned to revoke Elias's adoptions retroactively, absurd as it was. Talk shows debated the ethics. Is this love or conditioning? The boys countered with interviews, emphasizing consent, therapy, and genuine affection. Tommy spoke eloquently. "We chose each other because we understand each other's pain like no one else can." Elias, from his hospital bed, penned a letter to them. "I adopted you to give you a chance at life. If that life includes loving each other, then I've succeeded beyond my dreams." His words became a mantra, steeling them against the storm. The weddings approached, each couple. Tommy with Marcus and Riley in a triad ceremony, Alex with Jordan. Planning simple yet symbolic events. Invitations went out to allies, but the world watched, polarized. Protests formed outside venues, countered by pride parades in support. The drama peaked when a leaked video of Elias defending them on national TV went viral, humanizing their story. In the midst of chaos, personal growth shone. Jordan softened his cynicism. Alex learned vulnerability. Marcus expressed through art installations depicting their bonds. Riley coded apps for LGBTQ+ support, and Tommy advocated legislatively. Elias beamed, his family not just surviving, but thriving in defiance. The year 2020 brought unforeseen trials, amplifying the family's saga into a national conversation. With the world gripped by a pandemic, the Hawthornes hunkered down in Elias's Chicago home, turning isolation into introspection. Tommy, now 33, balanced remote work with nurturing his relationship with Marcus and Riley. Their triad, unconventional even in progressive circles, faced internal negotiations, jealousy flares, communication breakdowns, but therapy sessions via Zoom fortified their commitment. Alex, 35, and Jordan, 37, used the lockdown to co-author a book on their experiences, Bound by Choice. The manuscript detailed raw emotions, from foster care horrors to falling in love with a brother. Publishers hesitated, fearing backlash, but an indie press took the risk. Upon release, it climbed bestseller lists, sparking debates on forums and podcasts. Critics accused them of promoting incestuous ideals, ignoring the lack of biological ties. Supporters argued it redefined family in a post-nuclear era. Riley, 36, innovated from home, developing an AI platform for matching LGBTQ+ youth with affirming foster families. His work earned grants, but personal life tugged at him. Being the third in the triad sometimes felt isolating. Marcus, 34, channeled emotions into a virtual art exhibit, Threads of Kinship, featuring digital sculptures of intertwined figures. The show drew virtual crowds, but trolls flooded comments with hate. Elias, approaching 80, weakened by age, became the family's emotional core. He hosted virtual story hours, recounting their adoptions to inspire others. Yet health declines worried them. A bout with COVID tested their resilience. In recovery, Elias urged transparency. Hide nothing. The world needs to see love in all forms. Post-pandemic, momentum built toward the weddings. Tommy, Marcus, and Riley opted for a commitment ceremony in a botanical garden, symbolizing growth. Alex and Jordan chose a courthouse for its no-frills authenticity. Plans leaked, igniting media frenzy. Tabloids sensationalized. Foster brothers tie the knot. Incest or inspiration? Protests organized by religious groups clashed with counter-demonstrations from LGBTQ+ activists. Internal conflicts peaked. Jordan, under stress, lashed out at Alex. "Are we doing this for us or to prove a point?" Alex, hurt, retreated, leading to a temporary separation. Tommy mediated, drawing from his social work expertise, reminding them of their roots. Riley's logical approach helped. "We've survived worse. This is just another chapter." Reconciliation came during a family retreat in the Catskills. Amid hikes and campfires, they bared souls. Marcus admitted fears of societal rejection affecting his career. Riley confessed feeling like an outsider. Elias, frail but firm, shared his own regrets. "I never imagined this, but I wouldn't change it. You taught me love knows no bounds." Empowered, they proceeded. The triad ceremony unfolded under blooming cherry trees. Vows exchanged in a circle. "We choose each other, flaws and all." Guests, including foster care alumni, wept. Alex and Jordan's courthouse event, streamed live, featured simple rings and heartfelt speeches. Elias officiated both, his voice steady despite tears. The world reacted viscerally. Social media trends like Hawthorne love and family redefined trended, but so did Stop the Madness. Celebrities weighed in, some in support, others condemning. A congressional hearing on adoption reforms referenced their story, with experts debating psychological impacts. For the family, fallout was personal. Tommy lost clients at his practice, deemed controversial. Marcus's gallery shows faced boycotts. Alex defended lawsuits from hate groups. Jordan's journalism career soared, but at the cost of privacy. Riley's app faced hacking attempts. Elias, the patriarch, bore the brunt, his legacy scrutinized. Yet, amid adversity, bonds deepened. They co-founded the Hawthorne Foundation, aiding LGBTQ+ adoptees. Success stories poured in, kids finding homes, echoing their own. Elias's health stabilized, inspired by purpose. As 2025 dawned, the family reflected on 25 years. A documentary crew approached, promising honest portrayal. Reluctant at first, they agreed, seeing it as a platform. Filming unearthed old photos, letters, evoking nostalgia and pain. Climax built when a conservative senator cited them in a speech against same-sex adoption, calling it a slippery slope to depravity. The boys countered with a joint op-ed. "Our love harms no one. Judgment does." Public opinion shifted slightly, polls showing growing acceptance. Elias, sensing his time waning, gathered them. "You've made me proud. Now, live boldly." His words lingered as weddings aired globally. Viewers divided but engaged. In the aftermath of the weddings, the Hawthorne family's story transcended personal narrative, becoming a cultural touchstone. The documentary, Brothers by Choice, premiered at Sundance in 2026, earning standing ovations and Oscar buzz. It chronicled their journey with unflinching honesty. Adoption papers, therapy transcripts, wedding footage. Viewers saw not scandal but humanity. 5 men who found love in the unlikeliest place. Tommy, post-wedding, expanded his social work to international advocacy, speaking at UN forums on LGBTQ+ rights. His triad with Marcus and Riley flourished, their home a haven of creativity and intellect. They navigated polyamory's complexities, scheduling date nights, addressing insecurities with grace, becoming role models for non-monogamous relationships. Alex and Jordan, newlyweds, relocated to Washington, D.C., where Alex lobbied for policy changes and Jordan covered Capitol Hill. Their marriage, fiery as ever, weathered public scrutiny. A paparazzi incident, caught arguing publicly, fueled rumors of discord, but they laughed it off in a joint interview. "We're passionate. That's our strength." Riley's tech ventures boomed. His app matched thousands of kids with families, reducing unadoptable labels. Marcus's art graced museums, his series Familial Flames, depicting abstract love forms, selling for six figures. Elias, now 85, retired to a quiet life, penning memoirs that detailed his motivations. I wanted to heal my own loneliness by healing theirs. Societal conflicts raged on. A Supreme Court case on adoption rights referenced their story, with amicus briefs from both sides. Conservative media painted them as aberrations, while progressive outlets celebrated diversity. Online forums dissected ethics. Is nurture overriding nature? Death threats persisted, forcing security measures, but support groups formed, with fans sending letters of gratitude. Personal dramas unfolded. Tommy faced a crisis when a client accused him of bias, leading to a professional review. Cleared, it strengthened his resolve. Marcus battled depression from hate mail, finding solace in therapy and his partners. Alex clashed with Jordan over starting a family, adopting kids themselves, sparking debates on repeating cycles. Riley proposed expanding their triad, but discussions revealed hesitations. Are we enough? Marcus asked. Honest talks reaffirmed their bond. Elias mediated virtually, his wisdom invaluable. A turning point came at Elias's birthday celebration. Gathered in Chicago, they surprised him with a foundation gala. Speeches flowed. Tommy thanked him for acceptance, Alex for protection, Jordan for freedom, Marcus for inspiration, Riley for stability. Elias, emotional, revealed a secret. I was gay too, but hid it. You freed me. This revelation humanized him further, adding layers to their story. Media latched on, shifting narratives from controversy to triumph. Elias's coming out at 85 inspired late bloomers worldwide. As years progressed, the family's influence grew. They testified before Congress, advocating for inclusive policies. Backlash included a book ban attempt on Bound by Choice, but it backfired, boosting sales. Internally, growth continued. Tommy and his partners welcomed a foster child, proving their stability. Alex and Jordan adopted twins, navigating parenthood with humor and heart. Challenges arose, school bullying mirroring their pasts, but they equipped their kids with tools they wished they'd had. Elias's health declined, a slow fade that united them. Bedside vigils became confessionals. Regrets aired, forgiveness granted. You gave us everything, Jordan whispered. Elias passed peacefully, his final words, love wins. Grief bonded them tighter. The funeral, a public event, drew crowds. Eulogies painted a portrait of a man who defied norms. Post-Elias, the brothers honored his legacy. The foundation expanded, scholarships named after him. Their marriages endured, testaments to resilience. The world watched, opinions evolving. A generation inspired by their story pushed for change, from marriage equality extensions to adoption reforms. Yet, questions lingered. Were their relationships products of environment or destiny? Did society have a right to judge? 25 years after Elias first adopted Tommy, the Hawthorne legacy stood as a beacon and a battleground. The brothers, now in their 40s, reflected on a life of highs and lows. Tommy, leading the foundation, mentored youth, his triad with Marcus and Riley a model of balanced love. They raised their foster son, now a teen, with Elias's principles, openness, empathy. Alex and Jordan, power couple in D.C., influenced legislation, their twins thriving in a supportive school. Marcus's art evolved, incorporating family portraits that toured globally. Riley's tech empire funded initiatives, his innovations aiding marginalized communities. Societal shifts occurred gradually. Their story inspired films, books, even a Broadway play. Polls showed increasing acceptance of non-traditional families, though pockets of resistance remained. Conservative enclaves cited them in sermons against moral decay, while youth movements embraced them as icons. Personal evolutions continued. Tommy confronted survivors' guilt, therapy revealing depths of his abandonment trauma. Marcus explored solo exhibitions, finding identity beyond the triad. Riley ventured into philanthropy, traveling to advocate globally. Alex softened his edges, Jordan his sarcasm, their marriage deepening with age. Conflicts didn't cease. A lawsuit from a distant relative of Elias's late wife claimed inheritance rights, alleging the adoptions were invalid due to the relationships. Courts dismissed it, but the ordeal dredged up pain. Media scrutiny persisted, with documentaries updating their lives. In quiet moments, they gathered at Elias's grave, sharing stories. "He'd be proud," Alex said. Nods all around. Their influence rippled outward. Adopted kids reached out, crediting them for hope. One, a young gay teen, wrote, "You showed me family isn't blood, it's choice." As the world evolved, so did debates. Bioethicists pondered nurture's role in attraction. Sociologists studied their dynamics. The brothers participated in studies, contributing to science. Highs included awards. Tommy's Nobel nomination for advocacy, Marcus's Guggenheim. Lows, health scares like Jordan's cancer scare, rallying them anew. Through it all, love anchored them. Anniversaries celebrated with simple toasts. To us, against the odds. The global watch continued, their story a mirror for society's progress and failings. Is it true that love between foster siblings, born of shared adversity, challenges traditional morals more profoundly than biology ever could?